sports fans, diehards, and of course, bandwagon jumpers. Welcome to the Sports Doctrine. I'm Cameron here with Armand and our guest today, Reginald McGee. We're going to get you guys started.
Alright, sports fans, NBA playoffs is coming up this weekend, and got some potential matchups. Everything isn't clear yet, but we have some possibilities that are out there. We do know that Utah is locked up in the Western Conference. They defeated Phoenix not too long ago. We know the Spurs are #1. We know those sorts of things. But from what we know right now, guys, what is the most intriguing matchup in the playoffs at this moment? Keeping in mind that everything's not clear yet. Reggie, why don't you tell us?
Well, starting with the East, as a lot of people know, I'm a Heat fan, but I have no problem picking against my own team. But the most intriguing matchup would be the Heat and Knicks. There's a lot of people out there saying that it can take it to a 7-game series, but with the talent and the defense and the quickness that the Miami Heat have, and the Knicks just solely relying on jump shots like Mike D'Antoni coach team, I believe the Heat will sweep this game 4-0.
So you got the Heat sweeping the Knicks in 4 games.
4 games.
You want to go on record with that?
Woo! Wow. Coming from a man who said that the Knicks would make it to the Eastern Conference Finals. He said that at the beginning of the season.
Not even close.
Well, first of all, I want to say that our friend Skip Bayless on ESPN
He's not
also picked the New York Knicks to go to the Eastern Conference Finals. So I'm not the only one who picked that.
And you just lost credibility by Skip Bayless' name on this show.
Well, that's my most intriguing series as well, but I'm going to go with the LA Clippers and the Memphis Grizzlies since you went with that one. I believe that this series is a very intriguing series. Zach Randolph, Rudy Gay, and those guys, Blake Griffin, Chris Paul, I believe that series is going to go 7 games, and it's close games all throughout, in my opinion. What about you, Doc?
I mean, I got to say the Knicks and the Heat because of the Carmelo Anthony factor and the way he's been playing as of late. The fact that he had 42 points in that game they played not too long ago. I mean, the Knicks lost that game, but Carmelo was still such an explosive presence for the Knicks that I have to pick the Heat and the Knicks to be the most intriguing series. Now, I don't believe that the Heat will sweep the Knicks because I don't believe the Heat play consistent enough.
Which is true.
On a regular basis, and I believe that the Heat just have those games, those moments where it's like, what are you guys doing? Like, why are you not showing up? Why are you not putting forth the effort that you know you can put up? So I think the Knicks can get 2 games out of this series, maybe even 3, if they play to the level that they can. But I don't see a sweep.
I see that series going into 7 games.
Of course you do.
The Knicks are a good team. If J.R. Smith and Novak and those guys are playing, I mean, you can say if the Heat play up to their potential every game as well. But if the Heat play slack in some games like they've been known to do this regular season, then there's no reason why it won't be taking the 7. In a 7 game, anything can happen. You got Carmelo versus LeBron. You got J.R. Smith, Novak versus Wade. Then you got Bosh and Stoudemire, Chandler. Who knows? In one game, in a game 7, the Knicks can beat the Heat. If they can get it to a game 7,
in Miami,
they can possibly win that.
Yeah. In Miami,
yes.
If they win again in Miami, you'll get my attention there when they take it to a 7-game series. But it's not easy winning in Miami.
It's not. Well, I personally think the Heat are going to come out serious because they've been sleeping pretty much throughout the whole regular season. So what are the Heat going to do? Are they going to turn it on and they're going to take these 2 games and blow out passion against New York, or are they going to slack around and sleep on New York and let New York come out with 1 in Miami? I mean, I don't know. I'm picking the Heat to go 7 with the Knicks. But, you know, it all depends on what Heat team comes out and also what Knicks team comes out. Because you know that J.R. Smith is one of the more inconsistent players in the league. Novak has been shooting an incredible percentage, but how's he going to play? You know, and what is Chandler going to do offensively? You know he's going to bring it on defense, but with Stoudemire not 100%, Chandler's going to have to step up on the offensive end as well. And
that's the problem I have with the Knicks is they're too hot and cold. The Heat are hot and cold, yes, but I can depend on them much more quicker than I can the New York Knicks.
Agreed.
Because on any given night, J.R. Smith is 3 of 12 from the floor.
Yeah.
On any given night, Novak could just disappear. So it's like, can the Knicks be consistent enough? Can they get enough outside shooting? Can they hang with the Heat enough to force this series into those 6 or 7 games? And then do they have enough mentally to be able to go into Miami, into a Game 7 situation and win that series. It's hard for me to see that happen.
Now, I will say this. The only chance where I see New York beating Miami is I think they have the better bench. And I think that's the key to winning playoff games is the bench. You got J.R. Smith. I think he's a 6th man of the year one time, I think. I'm not sure. But you also have Steve Novak coming off the bench. You have, is Landry Jones starting?
Landry Fields is not starting.
Okay, he's coming off the bench. Now, as composed to Miami, you have James Jones, you have, who else?
Mike
Miller. He's probably pretty much almost consistent one. Mike Miller. And then you have Shane Bettier. Norris Cole and Norris Cole, but Norris Cole
MIA.
Yeah, he's been in
points in the opener and then disappeared.
Just disappeared. So right now,
he's in Fort Lauderdale.
I will say this: in order for Miami Heat to win all the big three, including the other 2 starters, but I will say Mario Chalmers is going to be the X factor in these playoffs too.
And in order for them to sweep New York, the big three are going to have to put up. Combine at least 75 points each game in order to sweep the Knicks.
But see, that's the problem I have right there with Miami is because I feel that the Heat play better when LeBron James is clearly at the forefront. And when Dwayne Wade and LeBron James and Chris Bosh are all together, I think you always have this clashing there because there is this, okay, who's the first option? Where does the ball go? I got to make sure Wade gets his points. LeBron, you got to get your points. You got to get your points. And I think it interrupts the flow of what could be a very potent Miami offense. But when LeBron James doesn't have a care in the world, and when he knows he's the first option, I believe that's when the Heat play at their best because there is an understanding of where the ball needs to go and who needs to have the ball in clutch situations. That's what I feel.
I agree to an extent. I agree that the Heat do play better when it's LeBron at the forefront. And LeBron plays better when he knows that he's that guy up until the last 2 minutes of the game.
Exactly.
Once that time comes, then you need a guy like Wade to shoulder the load in the 4th quarter. But with that being said, the Heat are going to have to play with Wade, LeBron, and Bosh at the same time. There's no question about that. They're going to have to find a way to make it work somehow. Can they do that? That's the question.
That's what I'm saying. I don't know if they can.
And that's what I was afraid of when they made that trade. When LeBron came, I thought sure LeBron James was going to go to Chicago. But when I found out he was coming to Miami, I was like, no, that's too much. That's too much talent on one team. Like
I said it myself. I believe that they would have been better off with Wade and Bosh.
Exactly.
That could have been a good tandem, and they could have put some pieces around that. And LeBron should have stayed in Cleveland, in my opinion. But that's a whole other thing.
It doesn't matter. I wish he never came to Miami, but he's here. I'm happy, but hey.
And while we're on that subject, do you think that they should disband the big three if they don't win this year?
Already?
It's been a lot of rumors about it.
I agree. You think they should?
I think they should. So as a fan, you actually think that they should disband the big three?
After 2 years, it really does not make any sense if they don't have an NBA title.
I can agree with you right there. Now, this team should win. 2 years is the window. They should have won last year.
Yes.
And if they don't win this year, it's going to be a colossal, historic disappointment.
So who's out of the picture then if you're getting rid of somebody in the big three? Who you getting rid of?
Bosh first. But it has to be Bosh first. But if you're going to have to choose between LeBron and Wade, I really don't know because Wade is the city of Miami for basketball. He is. But as far as a better player and the betterment of your team going forward, I'll take LeBron. I'll take LeBron, keep Bosh and those guys, and trade Wade and just put some pieces around. Because with LeBron, you know what you're going to get. You're going to get 28, 8, and 8. With Wade has proven that he can lead a team to the NBA Finals, but that's with necessary pieces around him and with a great sidekick like he had in Shaq.
Yep.
But can Wade do that with just Bosh and a supporting cast, or can LeBron even do it with just Bosh and a supporting cast? I don't know, but I would take LeBron over Dwayne Wade.
But I will say this also: when they won the finals back in '06, they did have a better bench than what they do right now.
Oh yeah, absolutely. And they had a lot more dominant personalities on that team. Gary Payton, Alonzo Mourning, Shaquille O'Neal, a lot of tough character guys on that team.
Yeah, and you had veteran guys who were hungry for a championship.
Yeah.
And you also had a Hall of Fame head coach, which Eric Spoelstra
is not.
But we all agree. Well, you say Memphis and the Clippers, and Reggie and I say.
No, I agree with you guys, but I went with LAC and Memphis simply because he had already picked.
Okay. And I think we can all agree that the least intriguing series is the Magic and the Pacers.
Moment of silence.
and we move on. All right. Well, more NBA talk coming up here now. Great battle going on for who may be the coach of the year in the NBA. Got some great candidates. So, guys, who do you think is going to end up being the coach of the year in the NBA, right?
I pick Greg Popovich. One of my favorite coaches in the NBA because he's so fundamental. He's not, like, every time you look at the Spurs, winning, like, going all the way back to early 2000s where they were winning championships back-to-back, they were fundamental. I've always been a fan of Tim Duncan. I mean, I don't express it, but I've always been a fan of Tim Duncan with his fundamental style of play.
Yeah.
Then you have Tony Parker. He's pretty much one of the more consistent point guards, but underrated point guards in the NBA.
Should be getting a lot more consideration for MVP too.
Exactly. So
you say Popovich. I actually agree with that. I want to hear what you have to say.
I agree. I had to take Popovich, Doc, because with what he has done with these veteran guys, he's kept this San Antonio team together, the core, Ginobili, Parker, and Duncan, and put the necessary pieces around them, and has made it work tremendously. The Spurs have the best record in the NBA right now. You know, they're tied with the Bulls or whatnot, but the Spurs, I mean, come on, who thought the Spurs would be here? With this core, Tim Duncan at his age, Ginobili, and Parker is playing his best basketball. He's averaging the most assists that he has in his whole career. And Popovich has made guys like Patty Mills, Danny Green, Thiago Splitter into significant role players. And that has to be applauded by Greg Popovich. And not to mention the times that he would take out his guys and rest them when people are saying that well, why are you doing this? And it turned out to work. They still won the West. So you have to give it to Popovich in this situation.
I agree with that because I think it's very hard when you're trying to manage an older team because you have the issue of rest and you have the issue of I got to make sure they're as fresh as they can possibly be. And Greg Popovich has been masterful at making sure that his guys have gotten enough playing time to be effective, but also making sure that they get rest, realizing that the goal is still to win a championship. And I believe that they can win a championship this year, and Greg Popovich is a big reason for that. And with that in mind, that's going to take us right into our playoff matchups. Who may win, who may not. So right now as it stands, we got the Spurs and the Jazz, Thunder, Mavs, Lakers, Nuggets, Grizzlies, Clippers in the West. In the East, we got the Bulls and the Sixers, the Heat and the Knicks, the Pacers and the Magic, and the Celtics and the Hawks. So, who do you guys maybe end up seeing Western Conference, Eastern Conference Finals, and then who you have in the finals?
Well, Western Conference Finals, obviously, the Thunder for one, and I will say the Spurs. Now, everybody know I'm a Laker hater, but the Lakers is no, it's not this time, not this time. Not with Mike Brown coaching. If it was Phil Jackson, maybe, but not with Mike Brown coaching. No, that team is just out of whack ever since Phil Jackson left. So I got the Spurs and the Thunder in the Western Conference. And as far as the East, the Heat and not the Bulls.
What? No Bulls.
I got the Celtics.
Oh wow, wow! You're on record.
On record.
The Celtics and Heat in the Eastern Conference Finals. Wow.
Too much veteran leadership on that team. And to say that they're like at their age, they're playing pretty consistent ball.
Yeah, I was going to bring that up about Doc Rivers. He deserves some consideration as well for Coach of the Year. He's done a pretty good job with Boston, but I don't know if I see them going all the way to the Eastern Conference Finals.
Now, I kind of disagree with you with the Doc Rivers thing. Now, because me personally, was Doc Rivers the coach before the Big Three was formed in Boston?
Yes, he was.
Okay, we didn't start winning until the Big Three formed. So, is it really his coaching, or was it the talent?
Well, you can say this as well. Phil Jackson was the coach before Paul Gasol got there with LA. Would LA have won those championships before Paul Gasol got there?
Oh.
See, so you need the necessary players. It doesn't matter what type of coach you are. Larry Brown is a great coach, an excellent coach, and you see what happened with him in Charlotte. You know, you need players. Without a question, you need players. So as far as that, I'm going to give Doc Rivers some credit. You know, you can have your opinion on that as far as Doc Rivers, but I definitely will give him some credit. As far as my predictions go, in the East, I picked the Knicks, so I'm going to stick with the Knicks. And I'm going to go New York.
Crazy.
I'm going to go New York versus Chicago.
Absolutely.
In the Eastern Conference Finals, simply because I picked the Knicks from the beginning of the season. I'm going to stick with that pick. In the West, I'm going to go with the Oklahoma City Thunder. And it's a tough one between the San Antonio Spurs and the Memphis Grizzlies. I really am.
So the Lakers are out.
Yeah, the Lakers are. I don't think they have enough. I think Oklahoma City has enough to beat them in the second round.
I don't know. It's something about the Lakers that's just. Well, at the same time, when they beat Oklahoma City, Harden was out because of the elbow. We'll get into that later. I don't know. But I've already been on record for saying Oklahoma City. So I'll stick with Oklahoma City, but I think the Spurs give them a nice ride. I've been on the Spurs like I've been on the Ravens for a long time. And it's like, they gotta do this for me. Their time is winding up. It's like, all right, come on, you guys. It's time is drawing near. If the Spurs don't get it there this year, they can't get it.
And there's been rumors out there that Tim Duncan may retire after this season. There's been
36.
He's getting up there in age. But I'm going to go with San Antonio. I'm going to pick San Antonio and Oklahoma City in the Western Conference Finals. Simply because I don't think that Memphis can beat San Antonio. I don't think that Memphis will beat San Antonio if they were to face off again in a rematch from last season. I feel like San Antonio will be more prepared, they'll be more healthy, and they will be ready to face Memphis. Like you said earlier, Memphis doesn't have the element of surprise anymore. I feel like, but it will still be enough for them to beat the Clippers. But I don't know if it'll be enough for them to beat San Antonio. I would have that series going into 7 with San Antonio winning, but I would not be surprised if Memphis was in the Western Conference Finals. I'm going to say that, but I'm going to pick the San Antonio Spurs in the Western Conference Finals versus the Oklahoma City Thunder.
Okay. So, what are our finals matchups, and who's going to be the champion?
Well, as you know, the Heat, and I said it before we went on record, the Heat and the Thunder. Now, the Thunder would be kind of lucky if they get by San Antonio, being that San Antonio is fundamentally sound, they rebound pretty well, but also Oklahoma City does. But one thing that I think that is a weakness of Oklahoma City, they take way too many jump shots, just like the Knicks. They do. And Kevin Durant, even though he is one of the hottest shooters in the NBA, in order for the Thunder to reach the finals, simply put, and I'm going on record saying this, Westbrook needs to know when to give up the ball. Even though he is also a co-star on that team, he needs to know when to give up that ball to Kevin Durant, who's a more consistent shooter. Now, even though his strength is driving to the basket, you got to think, in clutch situations, who's better?
I agree.
So who do you got win?
I got in the 7-game series, Oklahoma City Thunder.
And out of the East?
Oh, Miami Heat.
So you got Heat and Thunder. The matchup everybody wants.
That's too obvious, though. That's too obvious. I'm going to change my mind. I'm changing my mind right here. You heard it here. I'm picking the Spurs to go to the finals. I'm picking the Spurs, and I'm picking the Bulls. I'm picking the Spurs and the Bulls in the NBA Finals. I know I said the Thunder. I've been on record, whatever. I have the right to change my mind. I'm picking the Spurs and the Bulls, and I'm picking the Spurs to win the NBA championship. Go out in style, TD. Go out in style. That's what I'm picking.
It's funny that you do that because I was going to say the same thing. The matchup that everybody wants to see, except me and Doc. The Heat and the Thunder. I don't think it's going to happen this year. I think Chicago is going to get the job done against New York in the Eastern Conference Finals. And San Antonio is going to get the job done against the Oklahoma City Thunder. And it's going to be the matchup that no one wants to see. It's going to be a defensive, gritty NBA Finals, Spurs and Bulls. And I'm going to go ahead and make my pick right now. San Antonio Spurs, your 2012 NBA champions in 7 versus the Chicago Bulls.
So you've got Heat Thunder, with the Thunder winning it all. See, it's like when you expect it to happen, it doesn't happen. Like you can imagine any championship that you want, but it just doesn't happen the way you intend on it to. That's why I'm throwing a little curveball out here. Yeah, I'm being a little daredevil here, but I like the Spurs and the Bulls ending up playing for that NBA championship. Derrick Rose, get that core around him, that great defense, and Spurs with all the veteran leadership they have.
But will he be healthy?
Huh?
Will he be healthy? But you know he's been out pretty much like.
All these picks are barring healthiness from the San Antonio Spurs now, folks.
And the Bulls as well.
Yeah, exactly.
Now, if there's a lack of health, then you can just pretty much throw everything out of the window.
Yeah, and you can put the Heat and the Thunder in the finals if that was to come about. And watch out for the Knicks and the Grizzlies, folks. The Knicks and the Grizzlies, those are the sleeper teams. I would not be surprised if the Knicks were in the Eastern Conference Finals or the Grizzlies, either team.
But Reggie said the Celtics.
No, the Celtics are not going to the Eastern Conference Finals, folks.
But if the Celtics, we all agree that the Celtics will beat the Hawks, right?
Yeah, I mean 7.
So that means that 7?
7. I see
7?
6?
For the Hawks?
How much games you think?
No more than 6.
Oh man, I can see it going into 7. I think the Hawks are a better team than advertised. I think that they can really take the Celtics, push the Celtics to that limit. I mean.
Well, the Celtics be healthy though. They've had some injuries.
Yeah, that too, and the Celtics are known to come out lethargic too in the first couple of rounds of the playoffs as well. So we're just gonna have to see what happens with that. You know, there's a lot of injuries going on. It seems like all the picks are barring injuries because you got New York with all these injuries, Celtics injuries, Spurs, Bulls. You're just gonna have to suck it up and play, man. That's playoff basketball for you.
And Paul Pierce does that. He may do it in an unusual fashion. He goes to the locker room and then comes back in the third quarter. He just comes out of nowhere and scores 18 points to lead his team to a victory. But that is one of the more clutch players in the league, though, even at his age.
You want to know what I think?
What?
I think you want the Celtics to go to Eastern Conference Finals because you want the Heat to play the Celtics because you know the Heat will beat them. I think that's why you're picking the Celtics. You don't want to see the Bulls. You'd rather see the Celtics. That's what I think.
Because the Bulls kept knocking my team out the past couple of years. I mean, I love Derrick Rose, but
you'd rather see the old geezers than Derrick Rose and knowing those guys. I think that's the underlying mission for you to pick them. That's what I think. You got an underlying meaning on that. You want the Heat to go to the finals, so you're going to pick the Celtics to go, and you're going to be jumping up and down when you see the Celtics in the Eastern Conference Finals.
Yeah.
That wouldn't be a walk in the park for the Heat by any stretch of the imagination.
I say 6 or 7 game series.
Wouldn't be a walk in the park.
It would have been a 6 or 7 game series last year if Rondo didn't get hurt. That's why I said all these picks are barring injury. Because if the injury happens, then
because there's no way that series lasts only 5 games.
No,
absolutely not. No way.
Absolutely
no way.
Absolutely not.
All right, just to recap here. Reggie has Heat, Thunder winning it all, and both me and Doc have Spurs and Bulls. With the Bulls winning, with the Spurs winning the NBA championship. So either way, we have somebody out of the West coming up with the title. Okay, we'll keep an eye on that. Well, we talked about Coach of the Year. We talked about the playoff matchups. Now we're going to talk about the MVP discussion. Now we have 4 candidates. Most people have 3. We have 4 candidates: LeBron, Tony Parker, Kevin Durant, and Kobe Bryant in that MVP discussion. So who do you guys think should be the MVP and why? Ready?
Rule out LeBron. He's not clutch. Rule out Kobe Bryant. Maybe, I'm not sure, but it's pretty much dead even between Kevin Durant and Tony Parker.
But see, how can Kevin Durant be considered if you say that LeBron's not clutch? Well, Kevin Durant doesn't have any championships either. You know?
No, I'm not saying for championships. I'm saying for clutch factor.
It's 2 different types of clutch.
What are the 2 different types?
Clutch in big games and clutch shooting in big game situations. It's clutch players who step up big in those big games for the whole entire game, and it's clutch players who step up who you will give the ball to for a last-second shot. Kevin Durant is a guy that you give the ball to in the last 2 minutes of the game. LeBron James is not. LeBron James is also not a guy who steps up in big games. So he's not clutch in any fashion. Kevin Durant is a guy who you can say, is clutch, saying that you can give him the ball at any given time if you need 1 shot. Kevin Durant, Carmelo Anthony, those guys. But it's another level of clutch when you're talking about Dwayne Wade and you're talking about Kobe Bryant, guys who have rings, guys who've been known to be clutch for a whole playoff and take their team all the way. That's a different type of clutch. It's those guys you give the ball to at the last second, and those guys that you give the ball to take your team to the promised land. Those are 2 different types of clutch.
And LeBron James
is not either.
LeBron James has no clutch in him at all, according to you.
No, I don't think LeBron James is clutch at all. LeBron James has failed to step up in numerous situations. If you give the ball, LeBron, if I need 1 shot, I'm not giving the ball to LeBron James. If I need to come back in the 4th quarter, I'm not giving the ball to LeBron James.
I'll give it to Chunk before I give it to LeBron. I'm being serious.
I wouldn't go that far, but I will say this. in those first 46 minutes, I want the ball in LeBron James' hands. But in the last two, give me someone else. Give me Dwayne Wade, give me Kevin Durant, give me Kobe, give me Carmelo. Even give me Joe Johnson, Paul Pierce. I'll take those guys over LeBron in clutch situations. And I'm not saying this because I'm a LeBron hater. I'm saying this because LeBron has proven that he cannot step up in situations. I mean, 4 points in the NBA Finals game, that's not acceptable. You know.
Not for a two-time MVP.
But this is where I have to stop you guys. There is no argument that LeBron James is the most dynamic player in the NBA.
I agree, absolutely.
So with that thought in mind, how is it 100% positive that he is not or should not be the MVP of the league when you have the most dynamic player in the league who can give you, like you said, the 28 and the 8 and the 8 on a regular basis? How is he not the bona fide MVP of the NBA this year?
Because I'm gonna go with one of Skip Bayless' quotes.
Oh gosh, here we go.
Because he joined forces with Chris Bosh and Dwayne Wade, he eliminated himself from MVP contention, in my opinion. LeBron, no doubt that LeBron James has put up excellent numbers, but as far as body of work, I'm gonna have to go with Tony Parker or Kevin Durant, like Reginald McGee said.
Body of work, what though? For career or
no body of work for this season? The work that's put in. LeBron James, no doubt, has had an excellent year. But when you have another top 5 player alongside you, along with another top 10 player in Chris Bosh, the work that Tony Parker has done with lesser talent, or Kevin Durant has done with lesser talent, should be applauded more than LeBron James with another top 5 to top 10 player on his team. That's just how I feel about that. LeBron James is going to win MVP in my opinion, no doubt.
Thank you.
No doubt. Whether he deserves to win or not, it's up in the air. Tony Parker's not going to get as much recognition as he deserves. Kevin Durant's probably not going to get as much recognition as he deserves. LeBron James is probably going to win unanimously.
But shouldn't LeBron James get credit for the fact that he is on a team with all these all-stars, but yet he's still putting forth 28 points and giving you 8 or 9 rebounds and giving you 8 assists every game?
Yeah, that deserves a little credit, but I don't think that deserves MVP credit.
I mean, obviously, I'll say this. One thing about Miami, when LeBron and Chris Bosh came to Miami, my fear was like you said in the beginning, who's going to get the ball first? Everybody has a role on the team. I mean, just like the bench and everything, the bench has their role, but every starter has their role. LeBron, the obvious scorer. Dwayne Wade, he's been a little inconsistent this year, but not Kevin Durant. Chris Bosh, the guy that's supposed to give you a double-double every game, but doesn't. And then you got the X Factor in, what's his name, Mario Chalmers, and then you have Joel Anthony, even though he's not starting, but I consider him a starter coming off the bench, being a defensive presence. And I think he's an underrated defensive presence too.
His numbers have been down very well this year.
Yeah.
But I'm going to cut you off right there, excuse me, to say this. Is LeBron James really the most valuable player on that Heat team? If you strip LeBron from that team, how many games do the Heat win? But if you strip Kevin Durant or Tony Parker from the Spurs team, where are they? And I think the Heat can survive without LeBron. Spurs without Parker? No. Thunder without Kevin Durant? Absolutely not. And that's how I judge my most valuable player. And that's why I would take Tony Parker and Kevin Durant over LeBron James. Even Kobe Bryant.
See, I don't know. You take Kobe from the Lakers, you don't have as much.
Exactly. That's why I said even Kobe. Because what Kobe has done is to be a part. It is a 16th year in the league. And Steve Nash as well. I have to give Steve Nash a lot of credit for being second in the league in assists at his age. Steve Nash is almost 40 years old. And he's still playing at a high level. This is a lot of guys.
He said himself last night he has at least 3 more years in him. Who knows?
It probably won't be with Phoenix though.
Hopefully not.
He said himself that if they don't make some changes that I may need to look elsewhere.
Steve Nash is out.
Yeah, he
deserves it. He really deserves to get out of Phoenix. He deserves it. He played on his contract unlike a lot of players. He said he's going to be loyal to his contract, and he was loyal. So now it's time to move on. He wants to win a ring. He cannot win a ring in Phoenix, and Phoenix has to understand that.
Now he has been saying that if LeBron hypothetically asked Steve Nash to come to Miami, that he wouldn't mind doing it. Can you see Steve Nash playing for Miami though?
I wouldn't want to see it,
Immediately.
But I'd rather see him in New York.
That's my favorite point guard in the league. I don't know.
Listen.
Way too much time.
It's only a couple of destinations for him to land at if he wants to compete for the title. It's either Miami or New York. And I would hate for it to end up being Miami, but I don't think it'll be New York because I think that New York is going to shock Jeremy Lin. I feel like they're going to give him a contract this year and they're going to put their belief in him, surrounded by Carmelo Anthony and Martin, those guys. But if it was me, I'll let Lin go and get Steve Nash and go for the title now. There's no guarantee how long Stoudemire is going to be healthy. There's no guarantee how long Carmelo Anthony is going to be in his prime. There's no guarantee of a lot of things. So if you want to win now, you got to go with Steve Nash. You cannot wait for Jeremy Lin to develop. If that means losing, you know, the iconic stature that he has, and you know his pull overseas and everything, then okay. None of that matters if you win that title. And New York wants the best chance to win the title in the next 3 years. You have to go with Steve Nash.
I agree. It's either that or let Baron Davis go and let Jeremy Lin come off the bench.
You should have heard him a little while ago.
Here we go.
When Baron Davis comes to New York, everything's going to be right with the world. And Baron Davis, here he comes riding on the white horse. I'm like, oh, man.
I got to give credit to Paris. Paris thought that was the most preposterous thing I've ever said when I said that Baron Davis was going. But Baron Davis he's been an asset to the team. He has been. You know,
he's not like how he was when he was with.
He's not what I thought he would be, but he has been an asset to the team in some ways, and he's going to be an asset in the playoffs, I believe, in his upcoming series against the Miami Heat or Chicago Bulls.
All I know is this: all Baron Davis could do for me is pretty much shine my shoes. All right, we're going to end this edition of the Sports Doctrine with a subject that we got to talk about: the people's elbow, the big elbow from Meta World Peace to James Harden. 7-game suspension. Was it too harsh? Was it too lenient, or was it just right, Reggie?
It was just right to me. I mean, he knew what he was doing. He can say all he wants. As a matter of fact, I watched an interview last night saying, I mean, he was like, when you look at his face, he was smiling the whole time. He was talking about, at first, like, the dunk and how emotional he was getting and things of that sort. After he made that third dunk, even though he dunked on Kevin Durant, I can understand that. But even when you come off of that dunk and a whole bunch of emotion comes in, you saw James Harden on your left or right, wherever side he was. You felt him right there, but yet you still.
It was the follow.
It was the follow-through.
Exactly.
And then he didn't stop. Just like Skip Bayless said.
Yeah, Kenny Smith brought up a great point with this. He was like, he could see it being an accident if he would have been, you know, after he did it, he could be like, trying to help him up or whatnot, but he just kept on going about his business. And then I think suspension also branches out from Ron Artest's history. He has a history of those type of plays, and you know a big suspension would come. I thought it would have been more games than that, but I feel like it's right on point. One series, you know, don't punish the Lakers too much for Ron Artest's stupidity or whatnot. And the comments that he made on Twitter, he's been tweeting like crazy lately about you know Shaq and what everyone else has to say, bringing up Shaq's past and all that. The fact of the matter is you were wrong. You know, and you're going to have to serve the suspension, and you cost your team because you were wrong. It was unnecessary, and you did it. I mean, that's Ron Artest. Ron Artest changed his name from Meta World Peace to unnecessary because he does unnecessary things, and he hurts his team every time he does it. Going back to the Indiana situation, going back to him biting Kobe's ear in that series when the Rockets went 7 against the Lakers a couple years back. You know, Ron Artest does things to hurt his team, and he has a reputation for that. The referees are already on edge when they're refereeing when Ron Artest is playing. So the suspension was right on point, and Ron Artest was wrong.
He's lucky it wasn't more.
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely.
Because if you ask me, the NBA had every right to get rid of him for the entire postseason. But what's going to be interesting is if the Lakers make it through the first round, guess who they're going to meet more than likely in the next round of the playoffs? The Oklahoma City Thunder. Now that is must-see TV. When you get those guys back together, going at it again, hoping that James Harden will be clear to play.
Yeah, he's clear. He's clear now. He's practicing and everything.
Okay, that's good. But that's going to be some fun TV to watch right there. Because come on, it's in the back of your mind. This fool elbowed me, and they just see that elbow. It was like, man. It was a colossal. And Ron Artest is a big dude.
Yeah. About 6'8". 230, somewhere around that ballpark.
And it was like, okay, this dude has lost his mind. And of course, it took you back to, the palace, and it took you back to all of the messes. Yeah, and for him to do this after he's won the citizenship war, and since he's been in LA, everybody's saying, "Oh, Ron Artest has changed, and he's donating his whole salary to mental research and causes of that nature." And it's like, okay, he's on the straight and narrow now. And then for him to do something like this, it makes me wonder, especially with the tweets that he sent out, has he really changed? Or was it kind of just subdued? Was he kind of just doing it to please other people or to make himself look better? I guess.
That's what I'm saying. And the whole time, a lot of LA fans have been asking for the old Ron Artest to come back. They've been saying that he's been softening up, and all of this, he's not playing like the old Ron Artest, the Ron Artest they need him to be, the tough, gritty Ron Artest. Be careful what you ask for. Because that Ron Artest is an excellent defender, going to get in your face, going to do all this, going to knock down threes, and going to do all of those things. But that Ron Artest is also going to get you a 7-game suspension, and also going to hurt your team.
Which is why I think that's the main reason why the Lakers brought Ron Artest into the system. Because to me, I think he's the only guy who can pretty much guard Kobe Bryant consistently. Nobody else. Not LeBron.
The only guy in the league, the only guy ever.
Only guy in the league.
Okay. Bruce Bowen, where you at?
Yeah.
Another thing too. If Artest was playing in the first round, would we feel better about the Lakers as a team? Would that make a difference that wouldn't make any difference as to whether or not? Because I think the Lakers pose a dangerous threat in the postseason just because of the experience. And Kobe Bryant is Kobe Bryant. That won't change. But you guys look at it from a standpoint of, okay, it's Mike Brown.
Yep.
Yeah,
exactly.
And that's the primary reason why you guys say, okay, the Lakers can't win a championship this year because of Mike Brown. So everything else is good.
No, I'm not saying everything else is good. It's a trickle down effect. Mike Brown being at the head trickles everything right down. It causes like the control of the team, and what the players' mind says, and what this person and that person cannot do. It all branches down from Mike Brown, and I think that's going to be the Lakers' downfall in the playoffs.
I mean, you got to think about it. You had Phil Jackson. Phil Jackson has been with Kobe Bryant pretty much throughout his whole entire career. This is Mike Brown's first year with Kobe Bryant. Kobe Bryant is the face of the Los Angeles Lakers. So if you're going to come in as a new coach, you got to get acquainted with the star player. It's almost like in football with quarterbacks. The offensive coordinator or head coach comes in, you got to get acquainted with the quarterback. If you don't, you're going to have a messed up season.
He has to get acquainted, and he has to get control of his team. He has to gain the respect of his team, because a lot of times those guys don't really respect a coach that hasn't won anything. Same with Ep.4. D'Antoni, those guys. Is he going to demand respect from these players, or he's going to submit to Kobe and find them in those guys? Because you look at the situation in New York with Mike Woodson, he's been holding those guys accountable. I mean, he told J.R. Smith to pull his pants up and look presentable, and J.R. Smith was okay with it. I never thought that I would see the day of that. I give Mike Woodson a lot of credit, and he will get some Coach of the Year recognition too. This happened earlier in the season. This was 16-6, 10-1 at home. Can you believe the Knicks have the best defenses Mike Woodson has been coached? 22 games that Mike Woodson has coached, the Knicks are averaging the best points per game allowed percentage in the whole league since Mike Woodson has been the coach. That's excellent. The Knicks, come on, Mark those guys. Yeah. So that's an excellent job. I don't think Mike Brown has that, and he definitely doesn't have the offensive genius that Phil Jackson has. And can Kobe take this team all the way to the finals again? Can he do it? Does he have enough? How the other guys going to step up?
He had enough to average almost 28 points per game this season.
But we know well that when Kobe takes on most of the load like that, the Lakers don't win. Those years when Kobe was, leading the league in scoring and doing all those things, the Lakers weren't winning championships. They were losing to Phoenix, in the playoffs and all that. They weren't winning. When the Lakers were at their best in recent years, when Kobe was dishing out, letting the other guys get involved the first 3 quarters, and then coming in the fourth quarter and taking over. Taking those long breaks, beginning the second quarter, beginning the fourth quarter,
for this edition of the Sports Doctrine. For Cameron Tindal, Reggie McGee, my name is Armand. Thanks for watching.
Enjoy the playoffs, folks.
Go eat.